Good evening. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone to please silence your cell phones. Council meetings are live streamed on the city's YouTube channel. The chair would entertain a motion to, by minute action, excuse the absence of Councilor Pollock.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilor McIntosh, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Chair would entertain a motion to approve by minute action the March 17th, 2026 general bills and claims as audited by City Manager Jordan.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilor Bond. Any abstentions? Please cast your vote. Oh, sorry about that. Going a little fast. Please cast your vote. I'll slow down a little bit. Sorry. No.
Mayor.
I'm sorry.
Looks like we jumped ahead in the,
Did we jump? Oh, that's what we're whispering.
yeah, so I think we skipped the pledge and the council meeting.
Oh my
minutes.
gosh. Please stand and join me in the pledge. Oh my gosh. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
12 years, people. I've been here for 12 years. You would think I'd have it down by now. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. City Attorney. All righty. Then we'll do it. Please read the consent minute approval titles.
Approving the minutes of the March 3rd, 2026 regular council meeting minutes and the March 3rd, 2026 executive session.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent minute action agenda items just read.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor McIntosh, seconded by Councilor Haskins. Any abstentions? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
All right, now on to. Chair would entertain a motion to approve by minute action the March 17th, 2026 general bills and claims as audited by City Manager Jordan. Moved by Councilor McIntosh. Any abstentions? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Chair would entertain a motion to approve by minute action the March 17th, 2026 conflict claims as Manager Jordan. Moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilor Haskins. Any abstentions? Yeah. Any abstentions? Any other? Okay. Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With councilors McIntosh and Sweeney abstaining and all other councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you. Tonight, we'd like to welcome Deshan, I hope I'm saying your name right, Schinkel, and Joe Dedick, and other members of the Wyoming Senior Olympics Board to the lectern to say a few words about Wyoming Senior Olympics before I read a proclamation. Good evening. I hope I said your name right.
You did.
Okay, good.
I'm impressed. Council, Mayor, thank you guys so much for this. A little bit about the Wyoming Senior Olympics. We've been around since 1989, officially 1991, around the state of Wyoming. We have grown in the last 4 years, reaching national recognition. 2 years in a row, we've received the top award at the national level. I am on the board of directors at the national level, so we do now have a voice at the national level. We have thousands of athletes here in Wyoming and athletes around the country that actually travel in and participate. This week is National Senior Games Week. Nationals is promoting it. We're also promoting it by this proclamation signing. And then this weekend, we have our first, since 2013, our first national qualifying event here in Casper. We'll be playing pickleball, cornhole, and table tennis at the Casper Pickleball Sports Complex. So if you have time, come watch us. Visit Casper is graciously our presenting sponsor this year, and they are doing a social on Saturday at 2 o'clock. So we'd welcome all of you to come out and watch. Again, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. DeShannon, I'm going to have you come up here.
Okay.
If that's okay with you, and I'll read the proclamation with you.
Okay.
All righty, come on up.
The picture after with the
Are crucial, thank you, are crucial to building an inclusive, age-friendly society where older adults are recognized and valued. Now, therefore, I, Ray Pacheco, Mayor of the City of Casper, Wyoming, do hereby proclaim the week of March 16th to the 22nd, 2026 as National Senior Games Week within our community, and encourage all our citizens to recognize the valuable contributions of our senior residents in the city, while inspiring those who know, they know to engage in regular physical activity and strive toward achieving their personal best. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of Casper, Wyoming, to be affixed the 17th day of March, 2026.
Yeah. Thank all of you.
Yes, please, come on up. Yep. Please, please, please.
This is being recognized at the national level. Wyoming was one of 6 states participating this week, but also receiving a grant at the national level for this week. Yeah, we're excited.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the work that you do. Appreciate it. I'll be 50 next year. So I saw that in the proclamation. It was very encouraging. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Now is the time we invite anyone in the audience who wishes to speak with the council to come forward. This portion of the meeting is dedicated to the public to allow them time to discuss matters of public interest and to voice concerns. We do ask that you state your name, direct all questions and comments to the mayor. No personal obscenities or threats will be tolerated. Council will not respond to any personnel matters. Those will all be referred to our city manager. Councilors may ask clarifying questions, but if they choose to respond to matters, they will do so during the scheduled council response time following communications from persons present. Presentations are limited to 5 minutes and no time extensions will be permitted. And please note that public hearings and ordinances each have their own separate comment periods. Good evening.
Can I start?
Yes, absolutely.
My name is Dan State. I've been a chiropractor in Casper for 45 years and at my current location at 223 South Kenwood Street for 42 years. There has always been harmony on Kenwood between business and residents. Since the opening of stirrups, that has forever changed. The traffic and congestion prevent open and free unrestricted access to existing businesses and residences 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Property values have been impacted. No one in this room would purchase a business or property on this block, observing the congestion and limited property access. At best, it is a nuisance and an excessive burden on residential quality of life. I am concerned that the city will abuse the literal and technical interpretation of the city ordinances. Stirrups is at 1545 East 2nd Street, a C2 commercially zoned property located on a major arterial street, making it a high traffic area for commercial activity. A literal interpretation of C2 would be that they are zoned for the current activity. As a practical matter, the business activity is not limited to the property zone Z2. The business has created customer traffic, parking limitations, air quality, and noise issues the entire residentially zoned block. To say it is a public street and public parking, and somehow that is a valid justification for what is occurring, is absurd. It is no longer public when, as a practical matter, a singular business is monopolizing the entire block. To say that stop-and-go vehicles extending the entire length of the residential block is traffic, and somehow that is a valid justification for what is occurring, is absurd. It is no longer a public street when that traffic is for the exclusive benefit of a singular business. A proposed center line on a bidirectional road is to be used by traffic proceeding in both directions. As a practical matter, the city has provided stirrups a dedicated left-hand turn lane on a residential block unavailable to property owners and the public. My math at bare width minimum says it cannot be done without widening the street, and it would still restrict access and parking in front of my business. YDOT adopts the U.S. Department of Transportation Federal Highway Administration's manual on uniform traffic control devices. It describes do not block or keep clear pavement markings. Municipalities have adopted variants of these markings to prevent drivers from blocking garage doors, driveways, or critical access points. These white lettered boxes designate areas where stopping is prohibited to maintain traffic flow and property access. Drivers must not enter these zones unless the exit is clear. The driver stops outside the box and does not proceed until they can clear the other side. Is this being considered? The rights of my physically compromised, elderly, acute, and chronic pain patients should not be infringed upon by being blocked or hindered from entering or leaving my business or face a complicated traffic solution to accommodate an individual that is thirsty and seeking a beverage. It seems unjust, but apparently that's just been me. I would like to end with a question. Was this business and activity approved by the Community Development Planning Division and the Planning and Zoning Commission? And did this council approve that as well? Thank you.
Mr. State. So if you stick around afterwards, first let me say, does anybody have any questions? Yeah, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, sir, for the public comment. Can you hear me all right?
Can you hear him? Can you hear the Vice Mayor?
Barely.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't bring my hearing aids.
No worries.
I'm 71, so.
Did you state that the streets department has already been over there and striped that turning lane? My understanding is that was supposed to occur this week. Has that already occurred? Did I hear that?
Well, I don't know. The city was over putting signs up about do not block. And then there's parking for some people on the other side of that building. All right. And they put a big sign up that says no right-hand turn or no left-hand turn, that you have to exit Kenwood. And that would be an exit for like Archie's and Advanced Electric, Swans, designated sites over there, but you can't turn right. You can't make it to Kenwood Street because the incoming traffic and the out, if you were going to come out, it's head on. It's head on. You couldn't make the right-hand turn because there's a collision. And then the day they were marking, I think, with consideration to a center lane, my math doesn't agree with the engineering department, because if you're going 8-foot minimums for parallel parking and a minimum 10 foot for each lane, all right, there's no room. I get like 27 and some feet. You need 30 and there's not enough room. And even if that was the case, if you're in the far right-hand lane with that center lane, if you had a truck, you could not turn into my place of business. And you couldn't back up and get out with my place of business. But I would encourage you all to take a field trip. And you can get a soda, bring your own coffee or whatever, and hang out at my place and observe this the entire day. And for me, even though it affects my business, it affects the residents of that block 7 days a week, 8 to 8. They get no reprieve. It's constant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, hold on one second. Yeah, go ahead.
So, Dan, did the city ever reach out to you directly or any of the residents? That
Never. And I'm going to represent that they never contacted the businesses. They can speak for themselves, but they never contacted the businesses or the residences at all. To this date, they haven't contacted me. And I had one, they were with the owner. I don't know who the gentleman in the middle of the street. And I knew what they were talking about. So I just walked out and put myself in the middle of the conversation. So nobody from the city has ever reached out to me and the impact that it would make on my business or solutions, anything like that. No.
So if you stick around, we'll have some comments for you, okay?
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good
council
evening.
members. My name is Joanne True. I'm a resident of Casper.
Hi, my name is Reagan True.
We're here to speak in, we brought some skiers with us tonight to talk about your favorable consideration of the loans and grants that are in front of you regarding the Hogadon ski area. We will collectively try to take up less than 5 minutes, so I will go really fast. Of our 6 kids, all of them have skied or snowboard. We have 3 thus far that have done CMR, 2 skied high school. And as was mentioned in the pre-work meeting, girls won, the NCH girls won state this year, which is almost unheard of because those girls in Jackson, those kids in Jackson can really ski. So anyway, and then we've got 2 more that are coming up through CMR. My husband and his family were also CMR skiers, lots of involvement with that. I know that you have a packet in front of you talking about the benefits of this, but I just consider, or hope you consider, you know, what this means for our community, what this means for our high school skiers. There are currently 6 ski teams in the state. If NC and Kelly Walsh do not have a ski area, the high school skiing will no longer exist in this state. So those are my comments, and I just ask for your consideration. Thank you.
Any questions for Mrs. True? Yeah, go ahead.
So, thank you, Joanne. So what do you, what's kind of the goal for the private side of the fundraising?
Sure. So I am on the, and I think we've got some other board members here who are on the private fundraising portion of this. We are working with a private partner or private public partnership. As is documented, we will cover the gap between the public funding sources for all of the considerations being made. We are currently out privately fundraising, and that number is a little bit squishy depending on how the determination is made by the city council and how some of these loans and grants come through. But we currently have a committed total of 1.25 million.
Other questions? Oh, yeah, others?
Hi, Counselor. Hi, Mr. Mayor. I want to introduce myself. I'm Nick McNamee. I'm a Casper resident as well, and this is,
Hi, my name is Lincoln Magnum.
and we're here in support of that which is being proposed tonight for the loan request from Wyoming Business Council and the grants that Zulema had put out before you guys. Just want to represent Lincoln's older sister, who was part of the NC girls ski team that won this year. Appointed him as proxy tonight. She's actually down in Loveland, Colorado, with several other team members, and all of them are Casper Mountain Racer group and have trained that way. It's a wonderful resource in the community, and I just want to voice my support for it. So I'll keep this pretty brief, if that's okay.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, council members, good evening. I'm Bill DeGrave. You've met me before. I am the current director of Casper Mountain Ski Patrol, as well as chairman of the task force that these fine folks are members of as well, planning and helping raise the funds for the new chairlift. You heard all the details from Zulema. She did a wonderful job of laying that out for you. And I'll make a couple of quick comments. Ski Patrol is 45 volunteers. We serve the Hogadon ski area, making sure that safety is paramount. And if someone does get injured, we're able to provide emergency support and transport for those patrons of the ski area. Hogadon is a gem in the middle of Wyoming. With fair prices, great terrain, easy access to the public, it draws people from far and wide. And as mentioned earlier, it's essential to the high school race circuit, because without Hogadon, without Kelly Walsh, without Natrona County High school racing may not exist in the state of Wyoming. A couple more things: operability, reliability, safety, those are paramount at any ski area. And as you heard the details from Zulema, the chairlift at Hogadon has run its life. It's still very safe, it's still very reliable, but it's just we're not able to service that chairlift anymore. We always appreciate support from the city of Casper. We get support from the facility that Ski Patrol is able to occupy. We get support for some equipment. We get support from your great staff that serves up there. We always appreciate the support, and I know that you'll come forward with some support for the chairlift as well. I think the public support is needed in order to generate private support as well, because the private sector is going to want to know that the city is invested in this project as well. So with that, I'll end my comments. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Counselor.
Just first of all, thank you all for being here tonight. The only question I had was I'm just curious about what the reaction has been in the ski community about the season pass rates, as well as the additional user fee that now is being applied to lift tickets. I haven't heard much reaction, so I'm just curious what you've heard.
Thank you for the question. I'm not sure I'm the best person to answer that, but I think if I spoke for the staff, they would say that there's been support for that facility fee. We haven't heard any negative comments from my area about that facility fee, and it's going to go a long way to helping support this project. I don't know if somebody else wants to speak.
I just have one more question. During the presentation, we talked about the hard cost of the lift, with some accessory work to be done, and one of those is additional snowmaking capability. So it was a really rough snow year for we were up there every weekend trying to make the best of it, and there were a lot of weekends where it was a little bit rough. But one of the intents, and I think this is a question back to the city instead of for us, but one of the intents is to include additional snowmaking capability to get around the, just letting nature do its work on the snowpack. So.
Mr. Counselor, Mr. Mayor, I'll also just add that I think that my impression of the reaction is that a lot of the community knows that we have to pay our way. Though it's not easy for a family to always incorporate higher costs. We understand that that's part of the deal. And so the community has been supportive. I also want to compliment city staff, Ryan, Zulima, their entire team have done a good job, even in a difficult year, navigating through that. And I agree. I think there was commented a little earlier this evening that they've created creative yet conservative ways in order to find a way to help fund this project. And I want to compliment city staff on that. So, yep.
Thank you.
Any further thoughts?
No? Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Sweeney.
More, I guess, to the fundraising side of things. So right now with the second sheet of ice, you know, really kind of zeroing in and trying to finalize, have you found it a little, there's only a certain of folks willing to donate that kind of money to some of these projects. So is our timing a little off competing against other current projects?
Mayor, Councilor Sweeney, yes, I mean, there's definitely donor. There's always going to be donor fatigue. We in Natrona County have done ourselves, you know, we actively fundraise for things, but that's a good and a bad thing. I think the public comes to expect that. And we do appreciate being included in a public-private partnership, but it is a public-private partnership. This is a city-owned amenity. I will say though, I mean, my first child began skiing there in probably 1998. And I thought, boy, these lifts are a little, you know, they're very vintage. And that was, you know, 25 plus years ago, you know, for ski school when my two little boys are riding up together and trying to shake the chair and, you know, cause each other to get a little bit of a little scared. I do think like, boy, new quad lifts with a little bit more safety features would be great. But I think the responsiveness from the community is that we want a livable city, we want amenities, and that we all need to be doing our part and paying our share to get these things here so we can retain our youth and young families.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Haskins.
He started it. It's true. So are you guys going to start accepting donations from the smaller random donors, if you prefer that? So that just anyone can donate? And if you're going to start allowing donations, do you have a location where they can start doing that? Or will you come back and tell us when you do?
This may be a question directly for your staff, but we are currently working on commitments. And we have the ability to take in funds currently. You can see from the timeline, it's going to be a pretty quick turnaround. But we are working with the city about how smaller donations can come in. But we are out raising funds, so we will take whatever level of donation anyone wants to give us. So, but yeah, we are working with the city, but that's probably a question directly back to staff on how those can come in directly instead of through us.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you again. And I just want to take a minute to recognize the Phillies Alpine team. They're over Love Jackson, but it's great that Natrona County got a chance to beat them. So share that with me, please. Share that with them. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Schriftman, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Considering that last week was the end of the budget session, I have the following statement. Regardless of a legislator's philosophy on the role of government or the healthy tension we see between our local government leaders and our state legislators, we should all be grateful for the time and hard work that they do on our behalf. Unlike legislators in other states, during sessions, our legislators remain in their seats for hours, listening carefully to debates and offering their input. They only leave the chambers for a quick trip to the restrooms or a medical situation. They remain away from their families and their work for many weeks during sessions. They have no staff assigned specifically to them and rely on our hardworking Legislative Service Office staff to help them with research and bill drafting. In other states, legislators have full-time staff to assist them. Our legislators provide constituent service without the help of their own staff. Unlike legislators in other states, they do not have a government office in their home district or in the Capitol. During sessions, their only personal areas for them to work are small desks on the floor of the Senate and House chambers. Our legislators are faced with short legislative budget sessions and therefore work long days with committee hearings starting as early as 7 a.m. and floor work lasting late into the night or early into the next morning in order to complete their work in the time restrictions they face. In other states, legislators are full-time with salaries as high as $142,000 per year, plus travel expenses, taxpayer-funded office expenses, staff, and rich benefits for themselves and their families. Wyoming legislators receive just $150 per session days and interim meetings, plus reimbursement for travel expenses for those days. Legislators have told me that during session, they receive as many as 400 emails per day asking them to vote yes or no on various bills. They make every effort to respond to the citizens. The Joint Appropriations Committee had worked all through the summer and fall, right up into the budget session, holding hearings and debating various parts of the budget, and then hammering out differences between the governor's proposal and the versions of the Senate and House until there was a consensus. In the Senate House alone, there were over 200 budget amendments which were debated and voted on deep into the night. We have a citizen legislature whose members have regular jobs. They face the same challenges as the people they represent. That affords them the ability to have empathy with what their constituents are facing in their daily lives. God bless our state legislators, and two of them I think are here tonight, Tony Locke and J.R. Reagans. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Schrickman?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Pacheco. My name is Robert Taylor. I live in Mills, Wyoming, and I'm a retired mathematics instructor. I'm a member of the Casper Shooters Club, and therefore I get a 24/7 perimeter access. I'm here because the Stuckenhoff Shooters Complex, a public city-owned facility, is being managed as a series of private membership-only clubs within a club. I want to provide our new city manager, Janine Jordan, with proof of the layers of exclusion occurring on our public land. It's a triple gate system. I've provided 10 copies of the application. And let me get my place here. To use this public access asset, the city leasing requires that a triple gate of fees and private applications. The outside perimeter is $90, and that's the type of member I am. I'm a regular member of the Casper Shooters Club. And then you pay $10 for a little gate key so that if you want 24/7 access, you come in and swipe your key and they let you come in. But the action pistol range, which is a range that's been locked for about 7 or 8 years, you have to have a separate application. That's the first application. And they charge you another $10 for a key there. And then I think $80 more. And then if you want to get it renewed the following year, you have another application, and it is the second one. And it says Ghost Town Shooters, application for action pistol range, and it's $75. So, you know, and you know, the thing I really don't like about it, even as a paying member of the Casper Shooters Club, I am physically locked out of these ranges during normal open hours from Thursday through Friday and Saturday and Sunday, unless I join these subgroups. You know, and most disturbingly for me is on the backside of the first Casper Shooters Club and also Ghost Town Shooters, item number 9, and I quote, "This range is a members only range and the entry gate must remain closed at all times to limit the use of the range by non-members as well as day use shooters." Another term for day use shooters are the public. Failure to close and lock the gate upon leaving the range could result in loss of range membership. Okay, you can go to Ghost Town Shooters and it's number 9 on the back of theirs, and it's the exact same wording. Okay, and let me speed up here. So the only way I can get in there is if I join their little group. And I don't want to join their little group because it says you have to discriminate against your neighbor. You have to lock it and keep the public out. And that's in writing. That's on their applications. I got these Saturday. And so, you know, this is my 4th time since I've been on this microphone complaining about Casper Shooters Club and its lack of public access. You know, and you have to pay $135 in layered fees to use the long distance range. Oh, that's another $35 too, another application, and another $35 for the long distance range. Forgot that, sorry. I got to hurry up. So, you know, I refuse to join those subgroups because I am not going to discriminate against my neighbors. I won't do it. If that means that I can't use the facility, then, you know, I think it needs to be looked at. Very much do I think it needs to be looked at. So what I would like is I'd like Mayor Pacheco, I'm asking for a formal review of the city's lease with the Casper Shooters Club. And we must remove these lock gates and sub-memberships and allow access for all the public, not just the special people that they want in their clubs. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Taylor? So, Mr. Taylor, I just had just one question. So you said that there's discrimination around that, but anybody can have access as long as they pay the fee. I mean, anybody in the public would be able to come off the street and say, hey, I want to be a part of that, and pay the $90 or $130 fee. So to me, I guess that's not discrimination. That's just across the board. Everybody's equal, has to pay the fee for it. Is that fair to say?
Well, it says if you are approved. There's an if. You know, people at Casper Shooters don't really like me much because I complain all the time about their policies because I think they're discriminatory. So I doubt if I would ever be approved to shoot their facility. But if you I don't know.
If you applied for it?
No, because I don't want to say that, sign my name that I'm going to discriminate against my neighbor. You know, I won't do that. You know, I don't believe that discrimination is what people need to do. You know, not every racist discriminates, and not every person who's a racist discriminates, and not every discrimination is a racist. So there's lots of reasons why people discriminate against other people. But, you know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to tell my neighbor that you have to pay $135 to go out there and shoot plus the $15 day fee. Now, I think they have a history of getting rid of people they don't really like. But I don't know. I can't specifically say because I don't apply because I am not going to discriminate against my neighbors. I'm not going to let them write me let me put my name and say, oh, okay, I'll keep it locked. I won't let you in there. Even though you're a day user, it's a public property for all people. I'm not going to do that. So I don't know. I guess my answer is, sorry, it took so long to get to it, but
No.
I don't know.
Okay, great. Anybody else? Thank you so much. If you stick around, we'll have comments for you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lori Warmus, and my husband and I have had a business at 1605 East 2nd Street for almost 28 years, and never have we had a problem with traffic. Ever since March 6, 2026, when Stirrup Soda Shop opened, it's been quite difficult for us and our customers to have easy access to our property without getting into an argument with people who won't move. That lot, or that space was provided by the city for parking for everybody back in 1998 when they redid 2nd Street. They reconstructed, and we couldn't park on 2nd Street. So the city was providing parking for the area people. It has harmed us physically and mentally since they opened because we never know if someone's going to get angry with us. I did have one gentleman get angry when I asked him to move so I could get into my drive. I really think no one in this room would like it if their businesses or your residences would be blocked 12 hours a day. It's just insanity. They also block the driveways and parked vehicles on Kenwood Street. When the residents are parked on the street, they can't get out because there's a whole line of cars. I did bring some pictures that I took. And I find it very hard to believe that one business has the right to inconvenience other businesses and residents. And we shouldn't have to alter our way of life just to accommodate their business. I was told by one rude customer that I don't own the street. So why is it that you guys are allowing people to block a whole city block on a public street? This is also driving down our property values, which will make it very hard to sell our business or our building in the future. Now, we also learned that you were going to put a center turn lane. Well, that's not going to help us because we can't, if we come in off of 2nd Street and try to turn left into our business, it's going to be blocked by the people turning left into the soda place. I don't begrudge anybody trying to start a business, but it shouldn't be at the expense of other businesses and residents. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Any questions? Yeah, Councilor Sweeney.
So I think I missed it, but
Okay.
do you have Archie's or?
No, we have Swan Studios
Oh, okay.
at
Thank you.
1605 East 2nd. Yeah.
Okay.
And we were a flower shop for a long period of time, but then we closed our flower shop and we're just a taxidermy shop.
Okay.
But we need access through our drive for people to drop off heads and that kind of stuff. And it's been blocked.
So your parking currently is right there, kind of parallel to the building and sidewalk?
Yeah, there's the city put in parking for the customers for all the businesses in the area. But we have an overhead door, which is where we pull in and pull out. And they block us. We can't get in and out without asking them to move. And some of them don't want to move.
Okay. Do you, Mayor, if I could, so do you think that it will calm down?
I don't know. Will it? But if it doesn't, it happen.
Yeah. Agreed.
You
Thank
know?
you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you for coming to speak this evening. I haven't been over there to get soda yet, so I haven't you know, I've been watching social media chatter and stuff like that, but I haven't been over there and seen it in person. So I'm trying to understand the nuances of the situation. I totally understand your concern with a turn lane in the middle of the aisle, preventing someone coming off second from turning in. I just want to confirm for my own clarity, people still can go up Elk or Fenway. They'd have to go all the way around the block, but they could go around the block and come northbound on Kenwood and still pull in. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
but if I'm coming in on off of Second Street onto Kenwood, okay, and if you put a center turn lane, I can't turn into my drive because these people are blocking it with their coming into the soda shop. You'd have to come and see it exactly, and I do have some pictures if you'd like to look at those.
And for reference, I did go down there a couple different times. And so I had an opportunity, and I'll make my comments here in a minute, but
Okay.
I've been there 2 or 3 times just to kind of watch how that is. So I was going to comment about it.
And I think you're able to hand, you know, I don't want to speak for anyone, but we often have people hand us stuff. So
I don't know if you have pictures for us or
Oh,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah, you can hand those to our city manager right here. Any other questions? Great, thank you. Stick around. We'll have comments.
Okay, thank you.
I forgot to ask you, has the city ever reached out to you?
Not once.
Has Dave been over to see you?
They did, but they didn't have any solutions either.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. I'm Kathy Sandoval, and I also live at 229 South Kenwood, where it's very congested. I'm about middle of the block on the right-hand side, where Stirrup's business is on the left-hand corner. And I live at this residence with my 93-year-old mother. I've been there since October of 1996, and it has been a very wonderful place. I feel like I've invested into a great neighborhood. So since Stirrups opened up March 6th, for that week, their grand opening, I never had known how they are planned to enter into their place of business. And I was quite shocked to find out that they were advertising for people to enter into their business through Kenwood Street. I just thought it was a small business corner and they would be able to access from 2nd Street, and never thought there would be a problem entering and exiting my property with idling traffic backed up from 3rd Street all the way to 2nd Street. This has been an ongoing problem, and yes, it has not been consistent, but the business is open from 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening, and when it is busy, it's backed up right in front of my driveway, and if it's not, my front of my driveway is used as a U-turn. And I counted like March 8th, there was 10 U-turns in less than an hour in front of my house. It's no longer safe for my grandchildren to enter in through that driveway to be dropped off. We've had to do alternative plans exiting and entering my home. I've had people pick me up just so I can go grocery shopping, and I've returned home on the street carrying groceries in between this traffic that's idled in front of my house. And when I have tried to enter in either direction, whether I'm waiting in line off of 3rd Street, after I've worked at a place of business for 25 years, I've had to enter in through 2nd Street so the cars can see that I'm trying to turn into my driveway. And either way I've ever tried, I'm faced with hostility. And this has just been a very vile interaction with these customers. And my concern is that this is my community. And it has been very negative and stressful. And I know at some point, you know, Casper's not that big. And the place where I work in a medical facility, and I just know that, you know, I'm going to have encounters with these people. And it's just really sad that this has caused a very vile environment on my neighborhood. And I just really would appreciate if you could really consider using an alternative. I don't know why Second Street is not an option. I understand that people seem to behave themselves a little bit better on a main street than they have on this residential road. And I have paid my taxes for 30 years at this property, and I feel like it's not benefiting me anymore. I feel like it's benefiting this private sector that when I have talked to her, when there's been a problem, she's been very condescending. And I just feel that there's just no communication. She's just out for her own benefit, even if it is to step on the backs of others. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Yeah, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Ms. Sandoval. I appreciate you coming to speak to us tonight. I'm just trying to, again, wrap my head around kind of all the different options that might be available. You mentioned potentially routing the drive-through traffic through Center Street. Do you mind clarifying for me? Are you suggesting the Second Street? Yeah, what did I say?
You said Center.
Oh, all right. Second Street. Was it you're suggesting that people use the center lane of Second Street to turn into the business, or the right, the southernmost right-hand lane to turn? I'm trying to understand what your proposed solution was.
I do believe that her business would benefit either way. She has access to either side of her building on Second Street. So if they entered in through one side, then they can exit out either on Second Street in the front or even on Kenwood. Or if they turned into her place of business on Second Street and entered in through Kenwood and exited out, I believe that people are just going to behave a little bit better. If they see it's congested, they are going to continue to drive down the street or up Second Street. I just don't see them flipping U's and or just lined up, you know, waiting to enter in and blocking Papa John's entrance and other businesses' entrance. I think people just will use a little bit more common sense to drive around the block.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mrs. Sandoval. Anybody else? Come on up. Good evening.
Good evening. You'll have to bear with me. I'm scared to death. I don't
You
know
are
what I'm doing.
doing just fine.
My name is Daniel Jensen. I've been a Casper resident for my entire life. I've been in quite a bit of trouble, and I've recently found sobriety again, and I'm trying to be part of the community instead of apart from. And so
Congratulations.
I would like to talk to you guys, Mr. Mayor, Council, about the Whitewater Park over here at the Rapids. I have a design for a safety feature or contraption, I guess it would be called, that could circumvent any more deaths happening from the time of installment beyond that, from here on out. And I'd like to just cite a little young man named Alex Cressy, who died in that little park saving his friend Reese, and the impact that that's had on the community and his family and things like that. And the design that I've got could protect kids from falling in there, like just stumbling into the river. I've got some facts written down here. This Whitewater Park today, are built assuming risk must be managed by signage and life jackets. That would no longer be a necessity, although it's still been a great help. There's been a lot less deaths since the life jacket thing has been implemented. I've spoken to some Casper area businesses about my idea and design, and they've expressed interest. I don't want to name any right off the bat, but whitewater parks across the United States have had multiple drowning incidents, and cities constantly look for ways to reduce liability. My system I hope to present as a pilot safety innovation for one of the features in the whitewater park, the feature 3 to be exact, to be installed and allowed to, go through the bugs, working out the bugs of how it would work and everything like that. It's a pretty good design. Everybody I've ever spoken to about it has been on board, and I've been working on this for like 10 years. I've just been scared and screwing up for so long. And I've never had the guts to come down here and talk to you guys, nor have I known what to even do. And so my system could also allow for stronger waves to be built, so could attract more tourism, more people to come in looking for that kind of a fun time or whatnot. The search and rescue reports more frequent water rescue calls as recreation increases. This system would completely it'd aid the fire department in their search and rescue efforts, and without getting too far into it, I only come here to talk to you guys to explore the city interest before formally going to seek the area businesses, approval or funding assistance. Because I'm not trying to come to you guys for money. I'm not even trying to seek patents on it or nothing. I just want to give it to the city of Casper and no longer have to see little kids die there and anything like that, or drunks, or any of that, So that's basically all I got to say on it.
Awesome. You did great, Dan.
Thanks.
Any questions for Dan? Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Jensen.
Sounds interesting. Can you describe what you're trying to tell us?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does this
Are you gonna
look
steal my
like?
invention? No, just kidding.
I know. Well, it's pretty
I've been telling
vague.
people about it for 10 years, so it's not really
I know.
I'm not that worried. It's
just pretty vague how you
it is.
describe
I've
this.
got,
So
I've
it's
got
hard
a lot
to
of
be
experience in the oil field, and as such, I've been involved with the use and changing and maintenance of hydraulic cylinders, which I know to be able to be placed basically anywhere you could possibly want to place them. And I want to try to build a steel braided cable like spiderweb net that could be placed on the bottom of the river in big enough a pattern that fish could easily travel through it and it won't catch boaters. And hook it to the hydraulic cylinders that could then lift a platform up if anybody, because the water hydraulics press people down onto the bottom of the river there and hold them down there until they're pinned, until they've drowned, And so a system with some pivots on the side of the riverbanks, you could even disguise the hydraulic cylinders as like light feature, light pathway lights, just, and then search and rescue could go out and attend to them. No boats, no digging, no searching in water, no none of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically it.
Yeah. Well, you piqued the interest of our chief over here. I can tell in the audience, our fire chief.
Cool. All right.
Thank you, Dan. If you stick around, we'll have comments, okay? Yep. Anybody else? Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Vice Council members. My name is Tony Locke. I'm a Casper resident. I just have really a few questions as it relates to as I understand it, it's a loan for the Hogadon chairlift. And my question to the council is, have you really thought it through in terms of, is this the right spend of city available money in any way? Make no mistake, if it's a loan, you're hefting that on the heads of the people of Casper. I think the people of Casper were pretty clear with the 6 cent that this was not a priority for them. So is this a circumvention to that? Are you working around the fact that they voted against it? I'm asking the question more than anything. And because like I said, you are putting that burden, if it's a loan, you're putting that burden right on them for this. And is it the right place to spend your money? And I would argue that, have you considered the fact that just not too long ago, it was widely advertised that, due to deferred maintenance, there's a lot of bills for the people of the city of Casper, including a significant increase in rates to the people of Casper. So are we spending that money in the right places? And that's really just the question I have. I know there's a wide range of worldviews here. Most of you know my worldview is limited government. And that being said, I'm really just asking the council. I don't know all of the nuance and all of the detail, but at the end of the day, I just ask the council to be judicious from the perspective that is this the right place to spend the money? City available money, whether it's coming from the Wyoming Business Council, wherever it's coming from, it doesn't matter. It's going to end up on the shoulders of the people of Casper, and we know the deferred maintenance is already doing that. And I'm just asking the council to consider, is this the right spend of money, and is this the right role of government? With that, I'll stand for questions.
Any questions for Mr. Locke? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Locke. Just curious, I don't want to be too redundant. Did you catch our pre-meeting or no?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Vice Mayor. The answer is no. And I almost made a joke, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, I almost made a joke that your Vice Mayor will remind me that I need to review the meeting, and I got here a little bit late, so I am sorry I did miss that. And so I will actually take what I suspect is your next advice, which is to listen to the meeting, and I appreciate that. That being said, I would still ask for your consideration of the fact that is this a right role of government? Is this the right spend of money that will ultimately impact our people? So thank you. Other question.
Other questions?
Here.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Councilor Haskins.
Mr. Locke, you're a legislator, so I'm just going to cut to the chase. You did vote in the last election, yes?
Mr. Mayor, yes, I did.
So then you did read. The question for the 6 cent was not, do you want a new lift? It was, do you want to pay an additional cent to pay for the new lift, correct?
I agree. And
So we can.
Mr. Mayor, sorry, I agree. Thank you.
So then we can agree that you and I both know that in the voters did not say, no, we don't want a new lift. The voters said, no, we don't want to pay the 6 cent for the lift.
Mr. Mayor, that I believe that is accurate in the vote. And I would just like to qualify my comment, which I made that clear, that from the perspective, I may not have made that exactly clear, but the point is I agree with the vote was specific to the 6 cent. But keep in mind that voting for the 6 cent was equivalent to saying, do you want to pay more for this? And I would argue that this is paying more for this. So is it different? One might argue it is, but I would say it's really not that much different. You're asked, the question was asked, do you want to pay more? And at that time it was specific to the 6 cents. And I'm asking this council to consider the fact it is no different because you're still telling them, well, in spite of what you voted, you're paying more.
Others?
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Locke. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, council.
Into comment. Yeah, come on down. Good evening.
Good evening. Eddie Gumrak. I've been Casper off and on for a couple of decades. Had no idea what this was going to be like. The topic of the street being blocked by traffic. I used to drive tractor trailer cross country. Then I got a local job driving for demolition. And I've put tractor trailers down the interstate, down the main roads, residential, down alleys. I go wherever. To pull out of a site to get onto the road, I've noticed some low hanging lines. But for what these people are talking about, traffic blocking the road. If there's a demolition, I'm going to take whatever road I can to get to the site, residential, whatever. So this is bugging me that a local business traffic is on the street, dead stopped? What about an ambulance? What about me coming through 3 or 4 lanes to make a turn? And then I sit there and I wait. I'm not waiting on a light. I'm waiting on someone to get access to a business. I'm not even sure what the business is. It almost sounds like it's a little coffee shop. Other coffee shops I've seen are off the road. Traffic goes onto a lot and they wait for access to that facility. So in the future, would it be any business set up anywhere? They have to get a reasonable amount of traffic off street, be it 5, 6, 7, 10 cars, access available so the street is clear. Because I'm in a cockeyed turn trying to gain access to that street, and now an ambulance fires up. I'm limited. I crush somebody going backwards. I might be able to kink and go a different route. But to me, what's bugging, I have passed another tractor trailer in an alley. Very interesting, it was not in Casper. But I'm very vulnerable, and I'm putting others in a vulnerable position also. But then a business to complicate things, that sounds a little off. So if this situation is understood, perhaps more limitations could be made, this business and future businesses. Get everybody reasonable amount of traffic off the street. And perhaps a different location, yes, a good idea. In this one, it would be perhaps retroactive, maybe work with this business to get their business somewhere else. There's a lot of empty lots in Casper. And could it just be worked out, keep the streets clean? So that's just my offhand comment I happen to notice.
Did you state your name? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Eddie Gomarak.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah.
Any questions for Eddie? Thank you, Eddie, for your comments. Appreciate it.
I've been in large cities and small cities. And just the thought of, I can't get my truck, a planned route, I just can't move. That also blocks an ambulance too and fire. Okay.
Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. At this time, we have council response to public comment. Would any of the councilors like to comment on any of the, or briefly respond to any of the matters that were just brought up to us? Yep, Vice Mayor, I'll get you too.
Thank you, Mayor. Wow, lots of public comment. We are an hour and 15 minutes into this meeting and just wrapping up. I do appreciate that though. I'm always stoked when we have lots of different people and we had a diverse kind of array of topics that were brought up to us. So I do really appreciate everyone coming to speak to us and voice your concerns, voice your inquiries. It's usually just a handful of us in here. So when I see, you know, a lot more seats filled up, it always gets me excited. We had quite a few folks speak to the opening of the Stirrup Soda shop on 2nd Street. While I'm always excited to see new businesses open, I'm a big fan of Ariel and David's previous business, Copper Cup. I do empathize with the struggle of others in the area that have had increased traffic resulting from the opening of Stirrups. Like I said, I've been following the social media chatter. It does look like a lot of congestion over there. I'm guessing nobody was notified of the opening of the business and that it didn't go to P&Z because from what I understand, it didn't require rezoning, it didn't require replat or any of the other motions that usually trigger those notifications. So, I don't think that was personal or anything. It's just the city has certain conditions under which notification of businesses within a certain proximity need to be notified. And my understanding of that business is that it didn't go through any of those processes that would trigger that notification process. So I'm guessing that's probably why you didn't hear from anyone. There was mention that the streets department was on site today installing signage. hopefully that helps a little bit. It was also mentioned that we're going to be adding striping to the center lane. I know there was concern that there's probably not space there, but I do have faith that our engineering team, they wouldn't do anything that wasn't in line with code or current practices. So I'm hoping that measurements have taken place, that we're able to fit that turn lane in there. It doesn't sound like it's going to be a silver bullet solution, but hopefully it does provide a little bit of relief in that area. I also do have faith that the traffic is going to lessen over the course of a couple, next few weeks. I know that doesn't give anyone any relief in the present moment, but in my experience, residents are very enthusiastic when a new business opens, and usually within a month or two, that enthusiasm wanes. And so, I just think a little bit of course of time will help. But again, I totally understand that in the meantime, it's a painful situation going on, and I'm hopeful. I think I can speak for council that we'd welcome any and all proposed solutions that are realistic, that are attainable. I'm certainly hopeful that city staff as well is open to any and all solutions to that. I do think that the situation does require us taking a closer look at how drive-throughs are managed in our current zoning and development practices, and whether additional research or steps need to be taking place for future development that includes drive-throughs. Obviously not helpful right now, but that's a conversation I hope to have with city staff at some point about what adjustments or modifications we do need to make to the process for businesses that require or plan on having a drive-through. Because obviously, I think regardless of what the business is, whether it's coffee, fast food, anything that's going to have a drive-through, there's always going to be that initial interest and the cars lining up, and we need to make sure that's not negatively impacting the other folks in the area. So again, for the folks that are living through that on a day-to-day basis, please keep us in the loop as the signage gets installed, as the center lane gets striped. My understanding is that that equipment is still winterized, and so that's not going to be like a tomorrow thing, but hopefully here in the very near future. So just keep us in the loop. Mr. Straight, I know you've been sending us emails. I haven't responded to them. I apologize, but I do read them all. So please keep sending us emails, letting us know, how that's going over there, and we'll certainly do everything we can to help y'all. To Mr. Locke, to the concern about circumventing the will of the voters after quad lift failed on the ballot back in 2024, I do agree with Councilor Haskins that that project's failure for the spec tax initiative doesn't necessarily reflect a lack of will from the residents that project ever, take place, but certainly they're not supportive of additional taxation to make that happen. I will, as I have in the past, encourage you to watch our pre-meeting. I'll shoot you a YouTube link, because I did voice concerns in our pre-meeting that I don't want to be adding to our subsidy that the Hogadon Ski Lodge requires, especially in light of research I've been doing about snowpack. The outlook is not good for snow, especially snow at elevations 8,000 feet or below, which is where Hogadon is currently situated. So I don't think it's smart for the city to continue investing monies that can be spent elsewhere into an asset that might see reduced usage over time. However, if the users, through the facility fee and increased ticket prices, or through private donations or other methods, if they want to come together and improve the assets up there, I think the city should be as good of a partner as we can be in that. But I do think that the improvements up there do need to be borne by the users and the private donors that want to see it happen, because I do worry about the additional investments over time. If we lose 20% snowpack, how much more snow making capacity do we need to add? That equipment's very expensive, and it's got a finite lifespan. And so all considerations we need to be making. Would be happy to have a follow-up conversation, though, with you after you catch our pre-meeting and get some of that additional context. There's a lot of other people that spoke. I would like to address all of y'all, because I think it's important to acknowledge several of you have voiced a little bit of fear coming up and speak to us. I don't ever want you to feel that, because clearly we up here have no idea what we're doing. I'm talking off the cuff, probably just spitting it out at this point. So I do appreciate everyone showing up. Thank you for your comments, and please feel free to reach out to us, email, phone, or otherwise if you didn't get what you were looking for here in this meeting tonight. Thank you.
Councilor Bond.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not sure I concur with Councilor Gamrot that we're all up here and don't know what we're doing. I would take issue with that, but that's another issue. No, I just want to say thank you to everybody who did come to speak tonight. We appreciate, as Councilor Gamera mentioned as well, we do appreciate your input and thank you for your participation. My main comments are related to the soda business and the traffic issues on Kenwood there. I did take a little field trip this past week, and as sounds like the mayor did as well. It took me 30 minutes to get even into the driveway so I completely sympathize with all of your concerns. I did see the traffic and how far it was backed up with the business at Swans and Dr. State at your business as well. I wondered as I was pulling into the alley there, where you enter the line to go to the window, I did wonder, I did notice that there was a vehicle coming the opposite direction that obviously had turned in off of 2nd Street and was kind of going against the flow of the folks coming in off of Kenwood. And they were asked by I'm assuming somebody from the business to exit and get back in line on Kenwood Street. So because they didn't want to compete with the folks who had been waiting for 30 minutes trying to get into the business. So I completely understand that. Again, I completely support any new business into our community. We're grateful to have them here, and I've been a faithful patron of Copper Cup and hope to be of Stirrup Soda as well. But I did wonder about that idea of entering off of 2nd Street, as you mentioned, and coming around that way through that parking lot. That would take some of that traffic off of Kenwood. It may end up spilling over onto 2nd Street, and I don't know if there's more restrictions on that or not, but it seems like with a double lane on 2nd Street and turning into that, it would be the west side of the building, of the business. They would come in off of 2nd Street, turn into that lot, and come around, make kind of a U-turn around to go to the window to place their order. And then, so that was 2 things. And then I also did wonder as well, a question, I guess I didn't have a chance to talk to the business, but it just seems to take an inordinate amount of time 30 minutes to get through a line to get a soda with there was no food, there were no other items on the menu. So that, to me, that seemed kind of excessive, but I don't run that business. So I wondered about some just increased efficiency on the part of the business owner, just to get people moving more quickly through there. I realize a lot of those, their products are custom made, and so I know that takes time, but those are my comments. Thank you.
Councilor Sweeney.
Thank you. So I've done several field trips, and it is frustrating. I think so. In talking to, I serve on another board that one of the owners, David, is on, and I had a chance to speak to him last week. He did approach the city several months ago. I think the city actually forgot from his description. And prior to opening, even though, it's not required, as Councilman Gamroth mentioned. But the other thing that I'm kind of disappointed in is that the lack of communication from city back to the residents. Only it appears they've communicated quite well with the business, trying to come up with some different remedies. And David, I think, has put out a couple of suggestions also on how to remediate. But you know, it's possible the center lane, it's not going to be perfect by any means, but maybe it's a possibility. I just don't know. You know, and I appreciate everybody coming and talking. In particular, I think the residents, especially what would that be on the east side, you know, where Swans are highly impacted, Sandoval, Dan with his business and other residents. And there aren't, as I saw it, there are very few driveways on the west side of Kenwood, and a number on the east side, which is different. I don't know why it was laid out that way originally, but so hopefully we can come to some sort of resolution. I know I'm disappointed Dave's not here tonight. I thought he was probably gonna be here, but, and I don't know if staff's got any reports, but just know that your concerns have been heard, especially by a number of us, but keep communicating. And I don't know if a lot more pictures will help, but if you see something in particular, you know, it would be appreciated. And then on the, I would just comment on your comment on the river. Any ideas are a good idea, and I appreciate your courage coming up. I know your pain on sobriety, so having struggles with that for 40 plus years, and appreciate your words, and hopefully, you know, staff can get your information so that perhaps either parks or the fire department, or which really does remarkable work on putting the life vests out and keeping track of all of that, and all of that combined. So appreciate those words. Hogadon, the lift has been needed for decades, and ours is worn out. It's not safe. It has no bar that comes down to keep, especially our young skiers in. And I wholeheartedly support the public-private effort. That's what it should be about. Nobody's trying to circumvent anything from the public's will, but we're here to try to find solutions to problems. And so with the comments that have been made, I almost take it we should start shutting stuff down. We shouldn't look for solutions, for potholes and how to replace different things over time. And I think that's foolish, frankly. And so, and I'm more in favor of us as the city, just like we found money towards a second sheet of ice, which will be an economic boost. It's already shown in the numbers. And I was stopped at the Kiwanis breakfast by a grandparent of hockey that travels for their grandsons and to watch them Rapid City, Denver, Salt Lake, wherever. So I just feel to be more considerate of other user groups. And just as the river is a use in our trail system, it's a use, the shooter complex. And I hope we'll continue to look into that also. But thank you for everybody coming tonight, and appreciate it.
Thank you, Counselor. I'll just go ahead and wrap up. If there's no other questions or comments. Okay, and if you want to.
I was going to try to take it.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make it quick. I tried to get this all into one so I could like loop them together. It's a tough one. We got a good mix tonight. I just wanted to start with Mr. Taylor. You've been here a few times. We appreciate you coming. But I think the biggest part where my opinion differs from yours, public does not mean free. It is a public facility. It is not a free facility. They are not one and the same, which loops me right into you, Mr. Locke. Thanks for staying. First of all, thank you for letting me pick on you. I know you fully understand the difference. However, I really feel like as public officials, we need to change the narrative. We vote for things, but we don't vote for everything. So something that's on a ballot is not necessarily indicative of what all of our voters want. So as public officials, we have that responsibility to be clear. We cannot confuse people by saying, well, I didn't vote for the lift with the 6th cent, therefore I don't want the lift. They meant they didn't want to pay extra there. And maybe they don't want to pay for it extra anywhere, but we have a large amount of voters that are telling us, yes, we want that mountain. Yes, we want that lift. And yes, we are willing to pay for it. And it is our responsibility to see how can we encourage that partnership. That's how we're going to get the ice. I strongly believe that part of my job on here is to encourage that if you guys are willing to give us your money to support a city facility, then by all means, I'm going to do what I can to encourage that to happen, because you are investing your money into something that we own because you want it to maintain, stay here, and be taken care of. You're not asking me for something free. You're asking, how can I help you? And that is something that I think is very, very, very wonderful here. I don't use the mountain. I made it down the bunny hill a couple times. I fell. I don't use it. I don't need it. But I do try to get doctors into this town. And I was going to loop this gal, but she left. Doctors who treat measles on patients that refuse to get vaccinated, and it hurts. So yes, I actually hope that one of these people who were rude to her need her at the doctor's office, because boy, does that make you rethink your life choices. Those doctors that I recruit here come here because we have a mountain that allows them to ski and they don't have to go far. That is an amenity that brings medicine here that is hard to get here, so hard. So yes, everybody in this room, we tie together. Why? Because we live here and we want at least a little bit of the same things a lot of the time. And we all want it to be inexpensive, and we want it to be safe, and we want it to be fun, and all of those things mean different things to all of us. But at the end of the day, we do a little bit for someone else because they're doing a little bit for us. And as public officials, it is our job to make sure that we are trying to bring everybody together and not divide them. So yes, I thank you for coming, and I thank you for letting me be mean to you, but I really needed to get that out so that we are seeing that we all want the same things. We want them differently. We want successful businesses, but we don't want them to hurt our businesses. But if our business is super successful next Tuesday, I don't want my neighboring business to be mad because their parking was blocked that day. So are these things permanent? Maybe, maybe not. But maybe we give each other a little bit of grace and a little bit of time, and remember that next week I might want something and I might want their support. I'm done.
Thank you. Okay, I'll just make a few comments here. Dan, I want to quickly. One of the best things about city government and city municipal type stuff like this is hearing from our community and people to come up. So number one, just celebrate you for your recovery and your sobriety. That's always something that you should celebrate, and I think our community should as well. But I agree, if we could maybe get your contact information, our chief of staff is right there, right in front of you. Yep. If you just want to go ahead and give her your information, I think that will be a valuable opportunity to talk about that. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you very much. You did great. The soda shop. One of the things that I know when people come to city council and they want answers, right? They want to be able to say, hey, how are you guys going to fix this? And I don't know. I'm going to give a second here for our city manager to maybe make a comment here. But what I can comment on is I certainly understand it's an issue. It is not, right? It's not an issue. I went down there a couple different times. I do share your concerns. Going northbound, they were on the right side, kind of on your side, Mr. State, and Swan, thank you. And I had to go to the left-hand side to bypass going into the oncoming traffic from 2nd Street. And so I had to kind of go all the way around, which certainly could cause an accident. With that being said, I share your concern. I don't know what the full answer is right at the moment. And I know that doesn't make you feel better. I know that you're not going to walk out of here with a solid answer, but I know the city is committed on wanting to do that. The city staff is amazing. They care about the city, and I know that they'll come up with some type of a solution here. I know that's not what you want to hear tonight, but I want you to know you are heard, okay? And we understand. Sorry, I can't take any comments at this moment, but thank you. I appreciate that. Madam City Manager, did you want to say anything on that?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. I would like to just share a few facts around this. And the first would be that as Councilor or Vice Mayor Gamroth had noted, the municipal code did not require any kind of traffic study or site plan with this development because there was no. Am I too soft?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I will start over. As Vice Mayor Gamroth had said, the Casper Municipal Code does not require a site plan or any kind of a traffic analysis with respect to this particular situation. The reason for that being that there is no zoning change. So while that is acceptable, there are other approaches the city could take even when there isn't a change in zoning to evaluate traffic impacts. And so that is something certainly as a council, if you'd like to look at amending those rules, we could. But as you've all acknowledged, it won't solve the immediate issue in the neighborhood. So as I move to maybe the more immediate issue in the neighborhood, I want to reinforce to you a couple things. City staff, as of March 10th, so 7 days ago, had received one single comment about the situation down there. And the city engineer, along with members of our traffic section and street division, has spent a great deal of time on site down there watching traffic patterns and getting their own on the ground bird's eye view of what is happening. And while input from our residents is super valuable and useful, I always believe it behooves staff to go out and get their own eyes on these things, particularly when it comes to corrections that they may make so that they understand those conditions and make corrections that are reasonable, are going to help, and are also in compliance with the standards. And remember, there are a lot of standards around how we control traffic. So I want to share with you, they did respond in that regard, have spent a lot of time. We also did receive many emails forwarded by you all because your constituents were talking to you. And in that response to that, I have provided 2 updates to you in the last week that you were welcome to, and I hope you were able to share with your constituents. So I'm sorry if there is any perception of lack of responsiveness, but I do think that everybody's been working hard to try to address this problem since the code didn't allow it to be addressed up front. And then the last thing I want to mention is there was a mention earlier this evening to the MUTCD, the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, and I want to share with you that your staff do use that in the engineering division. And as stated, with respect to this development, there was no substantial change there that would have triggered a traffic study or striping or signage changes to be made per that MUTCD. So that's why it didn't go in ahead of time, but city engineer, traffic division, they're working to get out there and make corrections that they can. And I guess the last thing I'll leave you with is a change in zoning not occurring is one thing, but a change in the occupant of a zone or a site can, as we are seeing, really change the experience in the neighborhood. It was a previous drive-up liquor store for years and years, just didn't have the same volume of patronage. So there is opportunity to improve your code, I think, if that's something you'd like to do. And staff will continue working on site with this business to try to mitigate as best we can the conflicts that we're seeing with traffic there. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam City Manager. Yeah, go ahead.
So you referenced that you'd only gotten one complaint. And so what I probably am the worst at trying to forward on whatever, but so that's my error. So I guess what would be your suggestion of the citizens then? Do they direct it not only to us, but is there on the portal the ability to send it directly to yourself or to Jackie or Fleur at the same time that they're sending it to possibly myself individually, so that their concerns can be shared?
Through you, Mayor, great question, Councillor Sweeney. And to the credit of all of you, you called the office, Councillor Sweeney, on Monday, March 10th in the morning when this started kind of blowing up after a weekend of what sounds like a lot of activity around that business. We received forwarded emails from 2 or 3 other members of this council. I think Councillor Bond, Councillor McIntosh, maybe others. Forgive me if I'm forgetting you. And so I think that constituent contact with elected officials is really important, right? You are the city. You're just as much a part of it as we are. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. In some cases, the city manager's office is copied on messages that citizens send to the council, but not in all circumstances. And so what I would say in direct answer to your question, Councillor, is when you all receive constituent contacts, send it to my office, send it to my attention, to Fleur's attention, and staff will get on it. And I can assure you, as soon as it started blowing up on Monday morning, the 10th, I believe, I was sending out emails. Community development was all over it. Alex was all over it, and engineering as well. So I think the real issue here, honestly, councilors, is we weren't unable by code to address this as an upfront matter, and we're behind the 8 ball, right, in the neighborhood and as a city trying to retrofit a situation. And that's not that doesn't mean it can't be done. It just means it's going to be a lot messier getting there, right? So I hope that answers your question, Councillor. And you guys know, call us anytime. You can send your constituents as well to direct email us, or you can just forward those messages, which you did. So thank you.
Thank you. Just one final comment. Mr. Driftman, you had talked about, this is probably lack of a better word, the level, of respect for the state legislature and the hard work they do. I share that. I invite legislators to come and talk to my policy classes at the University of Wyoming. I definitely understand the stress, which is part of the sacrifice of citizen legislator, right? Unfortunately, for the budget session, they had 22 days to get all that done. And then outside of that, they have certainly all the meetings outside of there to be able to do that. I certainly respect each one and the time and the dedications they put in for the state of Wyoming. I don't think that negates the fact that we can disagree wholeheartedly with policy, with legislation, and we've shared that, right? I know Representative Locke, we've gone barbs back and forth on a lot of different things, and we've had those, but I still respect Representative Locke because he is serving our state and our communities. So I share that respect. In the same vein, I certainly understand that here up on this dais after 12 years, the amount of time and the work that I want to be able to express the respect that I have for this council, for the time and the multiple boards that we sit on, the small pay, the small amount of stipend that we get definitely does not cover the work that we do. Time away from our families as well, the work that we do, the criticism that we get as well. Sometimes it's not great, sometimes it's good, most of the time it's not good. We all share in that in public service. Ultimately, how I want to end it is that I think We have more in common than we do not. Whatever side of the fence you land on, I feel like we still have what's in the best interest of our state. I just sometimes agree that it's this direction, right, to be able to make the policies for the state legislature. I welcome continued conversations as we do, and having to battle it out on what we do as a municipality and the state. But we share that respect. So we're electeds, and it is hard. We represent the same constituents, and so we share that. So thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for coming and speaking. I now declare the public hearing open for the consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 8.16 and 9.40 of the Municipal Code pertaining to smoking in public places and offenses by or against minors. Mr. City Attorney, do you have any exhibits?
Thank you, Mayor. I do. Exhibit number 1, correspondence from Shane Cheney to Janine Jordan dated March 6, 2026. Exhibit number 2, affidavit of publication from the Casper Star Tribune dated March 11th, 2026.
Thank you, Madam City Manager. Do you have a report at all?
Mayor, nothing in addition to what you've already received in your packet.
Thank you. At this time, council will listen to public comments. Public hearing comments are limited to 5 minutes and no duplication of speakers will be allowed. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of this ordinance to please approach the lectern. Anybody who wishes to speak in favor? Okay. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition to the ordinance to please approach the lectern. Anybody in opposition to this ordinance? There being no one to speak for or against the ordinance, I now declare the public hearing closed. Please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance amending certain sections of Chapter 8.16, smoking in public places, and 9.40, offenses by or against minors of the Casper Municipal Code to prohibit vaping in indoor public places and to restrict the sale or distribution of hemp-derived and THC products to persons under 21 years of age.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve on first reading the ordinance just read. Moved by Councilor Haskins, seconded by Councilor Bond. Any discussion from the council? Okay, please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Please read the ordinance on second reading by title only.
An ordinance amending sections 6.04.001, 6.4.010, 6.4.040, 6.4.260, and 6.4.270 of the Casper Municipal Code to allow the keeping of domesticated fowl within city limits.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve on second reading the ordinance just read. Moved by Councilor Sweeney, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Council will now listen to public comment. Would anybody like to comment on the second reading of domesticated fowl? Okay, any discussion from the council? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Please read the ordinance on third reading by title only.
An ordinance approving a vacation, final plat, subdivision agreement, and zone change for the Valley Hills Addition Number 3 subdivision in the city of Casper, Wyoming.
Thank you. To approve on third reading the ordinance just read. Moved by Councilor McIntosh, seconds. This time council will listen to any public comment. Anybody wish to speak to the addition? Okay, any discussion from the council? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Council will now discuss the resolution for an amendment to the Casper Business Center Police Remodel Phase 2 project. Because this is not on the consent agenda, it will be open for discussion by the council. Please read the resolution by title only.
Authorizing a corrected guarantee maximum price amendment number 2 to the contract with Sampson Construction Company, Inc. for construction management services for the Casper Business Center Police Remodel Phase 2, project number 23-023.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution just read. McIntosh, seconded by Councillor Haskins. Madam City Manager, do you have a report on any of this?
I do not, beyond what's in your packet.
Thank you. Any discussion from the council? Any amendments? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Council will now discuss the resolution for the change order for the Casper Business Center demolition and asbestos abatement project. Because this is not on the consent agenda, it will be open for discussion by the council. Please read the resolution by title only.
Authorizing change order number 2 to the agreement with Eagle Environmental, Inc. for Casper Business Center demolition and asbestos abatement, project number 23-023.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution just read.
Second.
Moved by Councillor McIntosh, seconded by Councillor Bond. Madam City Mort.
Nothing additional, Mayor.
Thank you. Discussion from the council on this one. Any amendments? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Council will now discuss the resolution for the amendment to the Casper Business Center Police Remodel Phase 2 project. Because this is not on the consent agenda, it will be open for discussion by council. Please read the resolution by title only.
Rescinding and replacing Resolution 25-119 and authorizing the execution of Amendment Number 1 to the Clean Water State Revolving Fund with the Office of State Land and Investment for the purpose of the City of Casper North Platte Sanitary Sewer Rehabilitation Project.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution just read. Moved by Councillor McIntosh, seconded by Councillor Sweeney. Madam City Manager, do you have a report?
Nothing additional.
Thank you. Any discussion from the council on this one? Any amendments? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Council will now listen to the resolution for submission of a federal mineral royalty capital construction account grant application for Fire Station Number 1. Because this is not on the consent agenda, it's open for discussion by the council. Please read the resolution by title only.
Authorizing submission of a federal mineral royalty capital construction account grant application to the State Loan and Investment Board on behalf of the governing body for the City of Casper, Wyoming, for the purpose of providing supplemental funding for the construction of a new City of Casper Fire Station 1.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution just read. Moved by Councillor Bond, seconded by Councillor McIntosh. Madam City Manager, do you have a report for this one?
I do not.
Any discussion from the council? Yep. Councillor Sweeney.
So in the memo and in discussion, this one did not have any sort of a match. It's 100% grant.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Mayor, through you, Councillor Sweeney, this anticipated grant ask is roughly half, well, less than half the cost of the fire station from inception through final construction. And so we would assert that the city will match this grant if it is received equally to the amount of grant funding that we would be given, assuming that we receive full funding.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any amendments? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you. Council now consider consent resolutions. Please read the consent resolutions by title only.
10B1, authorizing an agreement with Dynamic Controls, Inc. for the solid waste store access controls, project number 25-057.10A2, authorizing the purchase of one new half-ton Super Crew 4x4 pickup for use by the Casper Police Department. Authorizing a contract between the City of Casper and Heirs Association, Inc. for the Amico Road Corridor Study. 3, authorizing a contract between the City of Casper and KLJ Engineering LLC for the Salt Creek Highway Corridor Study. 4, authorizing an amendment number 1 with Civil Engineering Professionals, Inc. to extend the timeline for completing the update to the 2016 Stormwater Utility Implementation Plan. 5, authorizing a release of mortgage granted to Wyoming National LLC by the City of Casper on February 23rd, 2006 for the Wyoming National Bank Building Project. 6, authorizing an IRU addendum and grant of IRU between the City of Casper and Mountain West Technologies Corporation for fiber optic cabling services. 7, authorizing amendment number 1 to the professional service agreement with Clean Club 307 LLC for custodial maintenance services. 8, authorizing amendment number 6 to the contract for professional service agreement between the City of Casper and with Kane Inc. for modernization of the freight elevator at the Ford Wyoming Center. 9, authorizing a contract for outside city water services with Western Agricultural Products LLC.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda items just read. Moved by Councilor Bond, seconded by Councilor Sweeney. Madam City Manager, do you have any comments on any of these items?
I do not, Mayor.
Any abstentions or nay votes from the council? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Please read the consent minute action titles.
11A1, reappointing Kelly Ivanoff and Philip Rail to one-year terms expiring December 31st, 2026, and appointing Martin Axland and Lindsay Grand to two-year terms expiring December 31st, 2027 on the Old Yellowstone District Advisory Committee. 11A2, approving the purchase of 7 Zoll Zenix cardiac monitors. 11A3, authorizing the purchase of 1 new flatbed tilt deck trailer from JJE Trailer and Sales Services, Casper, Wyoming, for use by the Casper Police Department. 11A4, appointing 1 new member to Casper Council of People with Disabilities for the term of 3 years beginning March 23rd, 2026. 11A5, approving the sole source purchase of a 2026 Crestliner 1660 Retriever Forward Console boat and trailer from Casper Marine and Rec and for use by the Casper Fire EMS Department. 11A6, terminating the agreement for construction manager at risk with Ream Corp. For the North Platte River Pedestrian Bridge, project number 24-007.
Thank you. The chair to entertain a motion to approve the consent minute action items just read. Moved by Councilor McIntosh, seconded by Councilor Sweeney. Any abstentions or nay votes from the council? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you. This time we ask councilors to bring forward any relevant concerns or items of interest. Councilor Larson, I'll start with you tonight.
Okay, thank you. I guess quick. So the first thing, I had a court liaison meeting yesterday, and the only thing I have to report from there is that the new judge will be sworn in sometime later this week, I believe. So that was good to be a part of that. And then I had a regional water joint powers board meeting today. Kind of the same stuff we discussed before, the UV disinfection project as well as the raw water intake projects. Those are moving forward and scheduled to start sometime later this fall. Let's see, we discussed some current upcoming capital projects totaling about $3.5 million. There's a list of, 10 or 12 projects that are going to be taking place over the next over the next 8 months to a year. So those are moving forward. Spoke briefly about potential water restrictions in the near future. Fortunately, there are none for right now, but that could be subject to change. So that'll be on a month-by-month basis, from what I understand. So anyway, that's it.
Thank you. Councilor Bond.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended the court liaison meeting with Councilor Larson and Councilor Haskins yesterday as well. Nothing much to add other than it was good to get an update from both the judges about the nature of the issues that are coming before them, as well as an update from our new judge about her participation in the online training for orientation for judges. So things seem to be going well there. And I think they're due for an update. We think it will be in May to come to the whole council. And then I also attended today the Youth Mental Health Coalition meeting, during which they demonstrated it's called the Wyoming Youth Resource Map. And it's an online resource for youth and for parents and family members to go on to, if a youth is facing a particular challenge or issue, the resource can help provide suggestions and ideas for support and assistance for the youth. So that was promising, and they have a prototype, so it's pretty far along in development, and I think looking forward to that being launched and available for youth and families here hopefully pretty soon. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilor Sweeney.
Thank you, Mayor. So, first off, happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm thankful that's named after me.
Oh, jeez.
You're not buying it.
I don't know. I'm not sure how much saint there is in that for you.
Oh, yeah. Good. Oh, the love. Definitely no pot of gold, that's for sure. So, but, so anyway, last Wednesday, I think it was on the 11th, luckily for me, I signed up for CY middle school and got to really, they were more enlightening on different public policies. And so the ones that I heard was road construction, another on hunger and starvation, one on mental health, and one on Councilor Gamros was highlighted potholes. And
bringing up potholes?
Yeah. And so it was really engaging. The students were great. It's the 8th grade that found it was really interesting. Only Cody, this is kind of a part of it, is only fairly new through the University of Wyoming. And participating, I guess, is CY and Cody middle school at this point in time. They're looking to grow it, and I think it was great that CY had taken that on. And it was good for me too. So I felt I was very thankful, and very thankful that Brandy came after me and picked up the slack and did much better. I'm sure she'll report on that. Also that day, I had Amico Reuse Joint Powers Board meeting that night. And so I just would, at some point, I would suggest maybe we could get a little, during our work session, maybe Ethan to come in further explain the water restrictions that Counselor Larson described, because I'm totally still foggy on it, having listened to several different things and what water rights. They've got a consultant, HDR, that really has done an in-depth analysis, but just kind of a brief overview of what water rights we have as a city, where they date back to, and if they're priority, like before 1923 and 1917, 1904, and some of those priorities I think would be useful. Also on the 11th, I attended a 4th of July meeting up at the event center, and I'd just like to say that Ford Wyoming Center has been doing a great job trying to herd the cats and put everything together, and it's complicated because of the 250th, and rightfully so. So, God forbid that well, I shouldn't go there. On the 12th, Advanced Casper had a little bit of a reception, and I attended that. And good to talk to folks about economic development and what the state is believing in. So Saturday, I went to the Kiwanis breakfast up at Casper College. Huge turnout as usual, and talked to some folks about the second sheet of ice and the pros and cons, and former mayor about maybe some budget items that we should be looking at, in his opinion. And then I missed today, thankfully, Counselor Larson carried my proxy at Regional Water, and missed that discussion, and also missed the disability walk up at Sunrise today. I think it was 12 to 1 or 1 to 2. So up at Sunrise, but thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Haskins.
I feel like you made me do this. It was an opening. First of all, happy Pat's Day. I'm going to call it that forever. From now on, this shall be your day for me. So yes, I went to the Seaway Middle School for Project Citizen, and you set this up so well for me. I had 3 presentations on underage vaping. I have never felt more qualified for anything in my life. I was like, let me just tell you who I am. I am presenting an ordinance on underage vapors this week. That said, I had a couple kids that felt like we don't listen to them. And so I promised them that I was listening. So my had a meeting with the judges, and I mentioned to the judges that all of the kids that presented to me felt like community service should be increased for underage vaping. Look at me changing the world per their request. So the next time you get an underage vaping, you asked me to do it. Anyway, the judges said they would take into consideration, and I told them I'd mention it to the chief too. That said, I invited them to a work session and a council meeting. I hope they come. I had so much fun, so much fun. Please invite me to that every single year for the rest of eternity. I loved it. It was the most fun I've had since I got on council. Also went to a drug court meeting, and I forgot that piece of paper, so it was also super awesome. I just don't have anything to say about it. I'm really sorry. And public health
I have a meeting on Thursday. Once again, plugging the public open house is March 26th from 4 to 6. They hope everybody comes to see their new beautiful building. And I'm going to leave it at that because I talked all night.
Awesome. Thank you. Counselor Jensen.
Yeah, so yesterday was just a busy meeting day. So started off there with a chamber meeting at the Chamber of Commerce, which is fine, just normal office stuff that we had to do, board things. And then we went over to the Ford Wyoming Center and had a CNFR meeting to discuss a 10-year contract that was going on. That was just a county rep for them, myself, a couple of city staff, and Ford Wyoming Center staff. So just in that discussion to try to get CNFR to stay here for 10 years. Nothing final yet, nothing even close, but it will come to council for your review at some point when it's done. And then also had river restoration yesterday, and it was regarding the Isaac Walton Reach that is happening, that is at 90%, and it's a fabulous plan. I'm sure we have information on that, and Jolene can give it to you if you need it or if you're interested. But again, that was just a meeting for landowners and the board to answer questions and the engineers. So a lot of good information there, and answered a lot of concerns that the landowners had. So they have great communication that's going on, and Jolene's been phenomenal with building a rapport with all the landowners, and it's just been a good process. That's it.
Councilor McIntosh.
Since it's tax season, I haven't seen much outside the four walls of my office this last few weeks. Thankfully, I'm in my home, so I do get to see my wife occasionally. So,
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I have just one update. Had a Downtown Development Authority board meeting last Thursday. It's been at City Works lately. I want to thank Bill Lyons, the property manager, for giving us that place to meet. We were treated to some sandwiches during our meeting, which they're now offering at their coffee shop. I'm a huge snob when it comes to pastries, and their croissants and baguettes are really good. So I had like an apple brie date sandwich on a croissant. It was so good. Very good. So check them out. They got food now. DDA is working with community development to learn or to team up and install permanent tree lighting downtown. It can be adjustable for other holidays, so it'll be great for Christmas, but you can also use it for other holidays throughout the rest of the year. It's not hanging over the street, unfortunately. I know Councilor Jensen will be upset about that, but they are wrapping the trunks of the trees and some of the lower branches, so I think it's even a bit above and beyond what the city historically does around Christmas time, and so should result in some cost savings because it takes a lot of resources to put those lights up, to take them down, and so just installing some permanent lights that are going to have like it's a 5 to 7 year lifespan or something like that. Yeah, hoping to get a lot of usage out of them, and I appreciate their partnership in doing that. That board is continually discussing whether it makes sense to expand the district. We're looking to add a couple members to the board. I believe that application period's open right now. We reviewed all current properties for sale and for lease, of which there are quite a few downtown actually. We discussed about whether there's any particular trend or reason, but they all just kind of have unique situations. Sierra West, she was kind of retiring and family wasn't going to take over. There's other ones, just quirky little, it was just the right time for certain folks. But definitely something I'm keeping an eye on because there's a lot of activity down there. So I think that's all I got. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say congratulations to the steps for Donnell's Chocolate. They had a ribbon cutting this morning and another ribbon cutting. They are 70 years old of doing chocolate for Casper. So it's an amazing family, amazing company, and it's just 70 years is pretty impressive to be in business here in Casper. So I just want to put a shout out to them and support your local businesses. And they are one that is a gem. So
Thank you for remembering.
also contribute a lot to
That is true.
the community. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Would you like to comment on something?
I just wanted to add a bit of color, I guess. So we have Counselor Sweeney, our saint, Patrick, but he might also be an oracle because we are actually going to talk about the thing you hoped to talk about next week, which is the Water Resource Master Plan. So it's coming right at you guys and at a relevant time of year, given we are dealing with concerns around water supply this summer. So
Thank you so much. So let me get this straight. We called Pat a saint and an oracle.
He's doing good tonight,
Man. In the boundaries, wasn't it? I just got a couple items. Vice Mayor and I have Council of Governments on Thursday at Eggington's, County Commission, and all the other mayors from the municipalities. I went to the semi-quincentennial committee meeting as well on 4th of July. Sorry, I was calling it exactly what it is. Yeah. So, yeah. And so I went to that, had an opportunity to, and I would agree the Port of Wyoming Center is doing a fantastic job of keeping things together. So I really appreciate the work that they're doing. You answered my question about the work session, so that was perfect. Thank you for the oracle for bringing that up to our attention. And I think that's all I've got. Next meeting of the City Council will be a work session to be held at 4:30 on Tuesday, March 24th, and a regular council meeting to be held at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, April 7th. A notice of an executive session to take place on this date and during this meeting was given. We have matters to discuss related to personnel and attorney-client privileged items. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn into an executive session, and at the conclusion of that executive session, to reconvene this regular meeting solely for the purposes of adjournment of the regular meeting. Moved by Councilor McIntosh, seconded by Councilor Haskins. There are a majority of councilors present, and a motion to adjourn to the executive session has been moved and seconded. This motion requires a 2/3 majority vote of the council. Please cast your vote. Oops. I want to vote for it. There we go. All right, please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Greater than 2/3